Morning. Here we are. It is Tuesday, the 16th of March, and today what I wanted to go over was the Human Menstrual Cycle Lab. Now, this lab has a lot of different pieces to it that we have to do, and I've already had people in our first day say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So this video should hopefully help that. It should help clear a bunch of it up, and if you fall behind or you find yourself stuck, I hope that this gives you that nudge that you need. So let me bring it up and we'll get started. All right, so this is the first page of the lab. Now, if you read through all this, it's got all sorts of stuff in bold and underlined, and all of those are good. It explains them and kind of what's happening. Our key really is this diagram right here, the bottom right of page number 1. And this is the menstrual cycle diagram that the Regents uses, that I've told you in class you need to know. So the first thing that we do in this lab is we are going to try to recreate this. So if you look on the next page, page 2, you're going to see this massive data table full of just the crazy amount of numbers, right? Take a moment to really actually read it. We have our days down here along the left, from day 1 down to day 28, a monthly cycle. We then have 4 different hormones, as it says, hormones of the human menstrual cycle. We have FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone, estrogen, LH, or luteinizing hormone, and progesterone. And you can see that for each one, it gives you the value each day. Okay. That's going to be graphed. This is how we always set them up. So let me show you the graph and explain to you the easiest way to do that. So here we are on the fourth page. And this is where we're going to graph. Now, you'll notice events in the ovary with the ovary, ovulation, et cetera, you're doing nothing here. Leave it alone. Same thing down here at D, events in the lining of the uterus, nothing there. Those are done. They're already complete. The only thing we're looking at is graphing out the hormones. Now, this involves a lot of flipping back and forth. My suggestion is that you may want to open up 2 copies of this so you can keep the data in one window, your graph in the other window, and you can just click back and forth as you need numbers. Even better if you can print to be able to be graphing and then just looking at your computer screen for the numbers. But let's start off. So if we take a look at the first one, I'm going to zoom much in. And I know it gets a little fuzzy, but this top one is the FSH concentration in the blood. All right, so we're going to go back up to FSH right here, our first column. Day 1 is 9, so we come back down to the graph. I'm going to change this a little bit. All right, now if we take a look, day 1 would be right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each line is 1 day. And it was at 9, which should be just below 10. Boop. Okay. Then we come back up. Then it goes up to 11, then 13. So now day 2 is just above 10. Day 3, 13 should be, right around that middle point, right? We're seeing that increase. Go back up. All right, we were at day 3, then 14, 15, 14, 14. So 14 is just below 15, 14, 14. You get the idea? Nice and easy. Color-coded if you're doing this in Cami. And then at the end, we want to try to draw a line through it. Now, I understand lines with a mouse or a touchpad. Yeah, questionable. No problem. But let me show you the tricky part about this, because mapping out the FSH is nice and easy. But in the same one, we also need to get the LH. which is over here. Now the LH starts at 9, but this is where people get confused. You can't use this chart on this side. That is the FSH chart. We need to use the LH chart over here. So on day 1, which is still over here on the left, we're at 9. And you can see this has 20 right here, which means this line there must be 10. So 9 is going to be just below that line. Then we come up, and then it goes 12, 16, 18. So once again, from this side, 12 will be just above this line. 16 will be somewhere towards the middle. 18 will be right up near 20. Then 19, 16, 12. So 19 is right up there. 16's back down towards the middle, and then 12. So you can see you're going to have 2 different lines. The red line for FSH is based on this chart on this side. The green line for LH is based on this chart on this side. And then ultimately, you know, you're going to have your line come through and do something like this. You know, so it'll have its 2 lines. Then we're going to come down here. Now this one is going to be estrogen and progesterone. Set up the exact same way, working the exact same way. So for estrogen, we come back up to our data. And here is estrogen. So 30, 40, 50, 70. So 30, 40, 50, and then up to 70, et cetera, et cetera. Progesterone is way over here on the far side. 0.6, 0.8, 111. So once again, using its chart over here, 0.6 is really low. 0.8 is really low. Then 1, 1, 1. And you'll go back up and down in order to graph these out, and you're going to get your progesterone line going something like that. You're going to get your estrogen line that's going to come up, dip down, and then come up again, or something along those lines, right? And then our graphs are done. Next step. Down here on page 5, now we have to label these parts. So we want to label the ovary, the uterus, the lining, the egg, the fallopian tube, and the vagina. Here is the picture. Label them. You know? There we go. There's one example. Should be easy by now. We've gone over the female reproductive system. You've gone over it in health. You should have the knowledge. All right, then comes the tricky part. And this is the part that I'm trying to have people do when they're here physically in class, if they're here physically in class. And that is we have 2 calendars to fill out. The first one, no fertilization. The second calendar, fertilization. So we have to come down here, and I know that this is more complicated, all right? Here is the first calendar. If you read through this, there's no fertilization. It says that the egg is unfertilized, and so this is our no fert. The second one, the label is right up here, big and easy to read. The second calendar is for fertilization. But how do we do it? Well, the idea would be that you come down here to these pictures. This first set is the no fertilization. And we would cut these out, and then we would put them into the calendar next to their description. So for instance, if we come up here this first one, it says the uterus lining and egg are shed during menstruation. Okay, so now we want to go back down and we need to find which one of these 10 pictures shows the uterine lining being shed. Of course, there go the lights. One moment. So, which picture shows the uterine lining being gotten rid of, being removed? So, if you look through this and you say, all right, no, there's no uterus in any one of these three. Okay, but D, this one all the way through the end, any of those have a uterus. All right, now which one looks like it's being shed, like it's being removed? Well, there's only one that looks like it's breaking down. And that's this one. You can see some bleeding and the dissolving of it. Okay, so this picture should go right into this blank. You see it has the text here, and then it has a little bracket pointing to the area next to it. So each area with a bracket pointing to it is going to get a picture, et cetera, et cetera. Down here, no, there's no picture. There's no bracket. What about 21, 22, 23, 7, and 8? No, there's no bracket, no picture. So each picture accompanies the text that describes it. Now, if you are doing this on Cami like I am, well, it's a little bit more complicated. So here's what I suggest you do. Since you're not going to be able to necessarily just come through and cut it out, instead, we're going to label them. You'll notice I've already done that. You can see I've got A, B, C, D, E for the top ones. And then we can go F, G, H, I, J. You get the idea. All right, now for that first one, the uterine lining and the egg are shed during menstruation. We said that was this picture over here. That's letter E. So let's come back up to this first calendar. Letter E. Now, the new egg is maturing in the ovary. Come down, take a look through these. Which one looks like a new egg maturing in the ovary? Well, it's probably not it's not going to be D or later because that's all the uterus. We need an ovary. A, B, and C each have an ovary in them. It labels it. So we know it's got to be one of these. All right, so it said a new egg maturing in the ovary. So I'm going to look at A because it says ovary and maturing egg, right? The keywords. All right, so if this one should be the next, we'll come back up, turn it clockwise, and say A. And then we continue this process. Now this first set, once again right here, that's going to go on our first calendar. The second set here, this will go on the second calendar because that's when fertilization does occur, so a pregnancy is occurring. And that's the lab. There's no questions. There's nothing else. It's just do the graphs, do the labeling, do the calendars. All three of those are here. We're going to be working on this throughout most of this week. Today, Purple Day and White Day together in class will be working on the graphing. Then Purple Day Lab is Tuesday. Will be working on their calendars. Wednesday, I've got something a little bit different for us. And then when I see everybody on Thursday, we should be able to finish it up with the labeling or whatever else someone may have fallen behind on. So yeah, that is the plan. This is our menstrual cycle lab. Once again, it's not hard, but it does have a bunch to do. I hope that helps and makes it more clear. I hope that everybody now can go, oh, okay, I know what I've got to do. So I look forward to seeing you in class as we continue to work our way through this unit. Hope everyone has a great day.